Did you know you can actually make a tasty and colorful jollof rice without tomatoes and tomato paste? If you are new, thanks for joining, and to my old golden members, I love you. To get that rich and colorful base, we need a lot of bell peppers and carrots. We'll also need some onions. We'll need garlic, ginger, and onion for the base of our sauce. So we're going to blend this into a very smooth paste. We'll then add our peppers to make sure there is heat in our jollof rice. This jollof is quick and simple, and for my proteins I'm going to use sausage. I first of all fry my sausage because we want a crispy and tasty sausage. And yes, you can actually make jollof rice without using any fancy meat like chicken, goat meat, beef, pork. You can actually make it without any protein too. So proceed to fry our onions. When it's ready, we'll add our blended ginger, garlic, onion, and pepper to the onions on fire. And for a tasty jollof rice base, the stew has to cook thoroughly. After the base is ready, we'll add our black pepper. We'll add a quantity that is enough for this recipe. I'll proceed to also add my Remy spice, which is the stew spice and the chicken spice. I'll give it a good stir so that the spices will go well in every part of the stew, and I'll allow it to fry beautifully. I also added my nutmeg, but it fell in the stew. I decided to leave it there because I'll remove it when I'm cooking the jollof. By then the flavors are well infused. So for that richness, we blend our bell peppers, onion, and carrots, and this is the quantity I had. I add it to my stew and stir and allow it to cook thoroughly too. This stew is easy to cook. It doesn't take a long while on fire, and you don't need a lot of ingredients to get a very flavorful taste. The quantity of stew I had was more than my rice, so I scooped some of the stew aside, allow it to cook thoroughly, and then proceeded to add my rice. I left the rest of the stew and stored it in the fridge for future use. But the one for the jollof rice, I went ahead to put it on fire so that all the juices will go out and it will be dry and tasty. I've heard a lot of people say that when you are making jollof rice, do not cook the stew thoroughly because you are going to add the rice and it's going to come out well. But from experience, I've realized that cooking the stew well makes the jollof more tasty. It actually prevents the jollof rice to have a sour taste because everything is well cooked up. I added my rice, let it toast for a while, and then added my water. For the water, I added enough what is going to cook my jollof to get the texture that I want, and I covered it with a foil. If you're allergic to tomatoes or fed up of eating tomatoes, try out this jollof rice and you wouldn't regret it. After a long while, the jollof is partially cooked. So I went ahead to throw in my sausages, my bell peppers, and onions. This is to elevate the flavor and also add some crunch to the jollof. And remember, carrot is very rich in its nutrients and also has a lot of fiber to prevent constipation. So finally, our jollof is ready, and this is the end product of our simple and quick jollof rice recipe. If your family loves jollof rice, don't hesitate to try this out for them because they are actually going to bite their fingers. Love you, and until next time, stay blessed.